everybody. It's Saturday. Hey, welcome. Good to see you. Hope you had a great week. Our 81st SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream. That means 81 times when I want to fix the black curtain behind me. There you go. Marginally better. Hey, everybody. Hope you had a great week. I do. Some of you may have a long weekend because of the Martin Luther King holiday on Monday. Hope you, among other things, have a little free time to play the guitar on Monday. So, my name's Jonathan. How are you doing? I see Randy. I see Matt, John, Scott, Winston from Wales. You guys know I love it when you mention where you're at. Randy in Colorado. John, I know you're in New York. Scott in Utah, right? My friends, I'm here for your guitar-related questions. I've taught the guitar for a long time. I have some answers. You have some questions. In between your questions, I got a show for you. Check this out. We have a poll up and running. The poll question of this week: what's your priority? Is your priority knowledge of songs? How do songs go? How do you sing when you play them? Is your priority knowledge of the physical instrument? What is this thing we call the guitar? How do you get sounds to come out of it? How do you get good sounds to come out of it? Is your priority knowledge of music? And the guitar and songs are simply how you get to more knowledge of music. Or option 4, other. What is your priority? Songs, the guitar itself, music, other? Let us know. Also, in between your questions this week, we're going to talk about the Mixolydian Mode, and I'm going to give you a very practical application of the Mixolydian Mode. It has to do with our weekly guitar play-along song of the week, where you can solo on top of the song using the Mixolydian Mode. It's easy peasy, but I think you're going to dig the sound. I traded in some stuff and got new stuff. If you want to see or see and hear a couple of new things I got, stick around. The musicians behind the new Bob Dylan movie called A Complete Unknown. A lot of musicians on screen, they're really playing their instruments and you're hearing it live, and they are musicians. It's not just people pretending to play their instruments. I want to talk about that a little bit. I have some links to share with you. I've got a handful of new TikTok followers. Isn't TikTok going away? Nice that TikTok is letting me know I got some new followers, but I don't know. Hey, I hope you're sitting down because I have $1 billion idea and I'm going to give it to you for free. And if you run with it and you make $1 billion, just remember us little people. It's a great idea. I'll say that. So stick around. I want to talk about this book behind me. It's my friend's book. It's his birthday today. So buy his book. I'm going to tell you why you should buy his book. Neil Young has a new album coming out, a new old album from 1977. Did you know that, you Neil Young fans? Coming out on Valentine's Day. I want to tell you about that. In between your questions today, we're going to talk about the new Netflix documentary about Norman's rare guitars out there in California. I watched about half of it yesterday. Very cool, very interesting. Guitar humidifiers. We're getting some rain here in Connecticut. You might not have a guitar humidifier. Probably should have one, especially if you're playing acoustic guitar. We have a quote of the week from a pro. We have a quote of the week from a student. Oh man, I have so much to share with you guys. How did I end up with so much stuff? Are you ever curious what the most popular guitar lesson videos are on YouTube? I'm going to tell you what mine are. You might get a kick out of the answers. They surprised me. A local library here in my area of Connecticut is doing a very cool thing, Music Mondays. And I want to share it with you because maybe either a library close to you offers something like that, or maybe you should be the one to begin offering what this library is offering. For those of you who did see the new Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown, you might be well aware that Michael Bloomfield was the electric guitar player portrayed in the movie. He's the guy playing electric guitar with Bob Dylan at the Newport Folk Festival in 1965. His guitar is up for sale. The actual guitar that Mike Bloomfield played on stage at the Newport Folk Festival is on sale. Well, it's for sale. I'm going to tell you how you can bid on it, or you can buy it. If you have the money, there's no bidding, just buy it. Should I sell out? I got some good offers this week. We're going to talk about another lesson from the teenage, where's that book? There it is. The teenage guitar book, in case you were taking lessons back in 1964, or if you went back in time. There's a cool thing I want to show you from this book during today's lesson. I have a dumb question of the week. We're going to talk briefly about the 2025 NAMM show, NAMM, the National Association of Music Merchandisers. I've never been, but it sounds like a wild event if you're into musical merchandise. Whew, I'm going to take a breath. Also today, we're going to talk about 5 more of the Songlines Magazine 50 Global Guitar Greats. And I'm going to share some links with you about those people. Okay, I think I think that's everything I have to share with you. But don't let any of that stop you from asking me a question about the guitar. Celeste is getting a little rain and some snow tomorrow. Celeste, are you in Connecticut? Because that's the weather we're getting too. William, hello. Okay, Winston, I see your question. So let's get started here. Winston from Wales says, why does the fat E sound so bad with the other open major chords when the other E's are being played? Yeah. It's tricky to keep your guitar in tune. There's multiple levels of tuning your guitar. There's the basic one. You clip on the tuner to your headstock, you tune it up. Life is good. Or you use an app from your phone, you tune it up. All 6 open strings, according to the app, according to the headstock tuner, everything's in tune. What can possibly go wrong, right? So much. Winston, I'm going to assume that you tune up your guitar and that's why you assume a chord is going to sound great. I can tell you what goes wrong with my instruments. Number 1, old strings. Old strings are a big problem. How do you know if your strings are old? This is one of the symptoms. Everything should sound in tune and something's not right. You go to play a chord and something's not right. It's possibly just because of old strings. Second thing, all guitars, acoustic guitars, electric guitars, need to be intonated. That means the next level of tuning up the instrument, not just the tuner or the app. You head down here, whether it's an electric guitar or acoustic guitar, the bridge, the saddle's down here. That part of the guitar, acoustic or electric, on an acoustic guitar, it's that brown wooden bridge with that white saddle going across, right? Believe it or not, that's adjustable, not as much as the electric guitar. But if the strings are fresh strings, the tuner says you are in tune. Something does not sound right when you play chords and other stuff. It's possible that your guitar needs to be intonated. And that you turn over to a pro. Can you do it yourself? Yes, you can do it yourself. My short answer is, yeah, you bring it to a pro, and that's one of the many things they can check. They can make lots of adjustments, including checking the intonation of your guitar. And especially good old, modern electric guitars, it's a mechanical process. It's not wizardry, Can you learn how to do it yourself? Totally. I bet there's videos out there. For sure there are videos out there. But problem number 3, and I'm 100% guilty of this. You go to play a chord. The notes that you're fretting, I'm doing a G chord here. You squeeze too hard. If you squeeze too hard, the string bends, essentially. And you can take a note that should be in tune and squeeze so hard it's out of tune. Now, I'm going to make my guitar a little bit loud to prove this point. I'm going to play the fat string 3rd fret as if I'm playing a G chord. I'm going to squeeze extra hard, and trust me, you're going to hear that pitch go woo, like that. Hear that? My guitar's fine. It's me. I'm the problem. Operator error. And I grab I mean, I'm as guilty as anyone. I just grab too hard. So Winston, I see you're clarifying. It's about, you're talking about the C chord. So we'll get to that in a second. But bottom line is, everything I just discussed, it's all important to think about. Tune up your guitar. Make sure you have fresh strings. Don't squeeze too hard. Have your guitar checked out by a guitar tech, by a luthier. Make sure the intonation is okay. Now, Winston, you're clarifying, you're saying the C major chord. When you grab a C chord, teachers, including me, say don't strum the fat E string. But as I think you're noting, Winston, the note E is fine, right? The note E is harmonious with the C chord. So then why do teachers, including me, say don't hit the fat string? Two things. It's this big, low, powerful, boomy sound that for sure is likely to overwhelm the other notes of the chord, including the root note. There's that C right there, 5th string, 3rd fret. You do not want the note E to overwhelm anything, the fat E string specifically. You don't want that to overwhelm anything, especially not the note C right there. The other reason to not hit the fat E string, or the reason why teachers tell you not to do it, technically it changes the name of the chord. If you are playing a C chord and you deliberately include the fat string, the chord is now called C/E, C over E, a C chord with E as the low note. You know what? I know exactly one song where that gets deliberately played. I'm not saying there is only one, but anybody know the song called Lonesome Town? I know of it as a Ricky Nelson song. And I'm sure there's other people who do it, but essentially the song starts off the first measure, the first little bit of the song goes like that. C chord, and I'm going to keep my left hand on my C chord. 5th string, a little up, down, up on the treble strings, and then here it comes, 6th string. And it's loud and proud. It's unapologetic. So next time you listen to Lonesome Town, specifically Ricky Nelson's version of Lonesome Town, maybe it's the only version, I don't know. You'll hear that open E string during a C chord, bang. And I know when I heard that, I thought, whoa, wait. I thought we weren't supposed to do that. Or I thought, well, there's an example. I mean, you're allowed to. It's and the reason it shows up in that intro to Lonesome Town is because it's part of a pattern, So Winston, I hope that is some helpful information. It's not that the string is off limits, but you want to tread lightly with that sound. By the way, you could say something similar with a D major chord and the open 5th string, the note A. Totally, the note A is a perfectly harmonious note during a D major chord, but that low A, the open 5th string, again, potentially it could sort of overwhelm the other notes of the chord. And if you're deliberately including it, you should now say, I am playing a D over A, D/A. One more, A major or A minor, any A chord. Typically, teachers say don't hit the fat string during an A chord, but it is harmonious. The note E is harmonious during an A chord. You might choose to omit that sound because it's just too much. It's too much, Scott, I see your question. Scott says, do YouTube guitar and gear people watch each other and communicate? Like, do you have a club and secret handshake and stuff? I wish. I'm definitely, in general, I have communicated with a few other people who basically do what I do. I wish I had a deeper friendship with these people. It would be fun to go to like a convention. I know YouTube has events. It'd be fun to compare notes. My profession is unregulated. Anybody can say they're a guitar teacher, and they do. So we don't have reasons to cross paths the way other professions might have conventions and periodicals and Zoom calls and stuff, you know. When I first started teaching, I taught, there were a few other teachers for sure in the shop that I was teaching in. And that was, you know, helpful. I mean, they could, it wasn't that they taught me how to teach. They would say, oh, I found a cool version of Scarborough Fair, a nice, easy arrangement of Scarborough Fair. I made your copy. Great, because all you need is one copy. That's your master copy. Then you have that for the rest of your life. And the more of those sort of master copies you have, the easier teaching becomes, because every student walking the door has their own hopes and dreams. And, you know, next time someone says, hey, I'd like to do Scarborough Fair, or I'd like to do a nice finger picking, or do you have anything from Simon and Garfunkel? You've got that handy. Okay. But getting back to Scott's question, I watch, I don't always have the patience to watch my peers. Sometimes it's because I don't feel they're great at their job. Sometimes they're perfectly fine at their job, but they do it differently than I do. Sometimes it's just, it's, you know, I'm not curious about how they do it because I know how I would do it. So I'm not curious. I definitely watch my peers when necessity calls. If a student says to me, I want to learn this new Billie Eilish song, great. Who's made a video on how to play that Billie Eilish song? I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, right? I want someone out there to have made a video on how to play that song, so my student and I can watch it right there in real time. And they have to be patient because I might critique how the person's doing it. I try to give praise when the person does a good job, but that it makes my life so much easier, right? I started teaching a long time ago, before the internet, well, before YouTube, 1992, before YouTube for sure. So the idea that I could pull up a video of some other teacher teaching a song is mind-blowing. I don't know what I did to deserve such a beautiful thing. And I'm hoping, knock on wood, that other teachers sometimes stumble across my videos when they want to teach such and such a song. I assume that happens. I don't know why it wouldn't happen. So I'm more likely to enjoy gear podcasts and gear stuff because that's not my forte, and I like learning about, you know, gear stuff, and it's not so close to home. You know, it's not so close to home. Mini Zoo, what did I do? You're asking me to show it again. Was it the Lonesome Town thing? Was that it? I'm happy to show it again. Just be more specific, so I know what I did that you want to see again. So Scott, my final answer, to sum up, I would love to hang out with people who do my job, right? Who wouldn't? You know, whether you love your job or have mixed feelings about your job, chances are your peers feel about the same way you do, right? And I think I get a kick out of it. So if someone made it easy to hang out with other people, I would do it. Would I travel across the country? And I don't know. But you guys know I'm a big fan of the Know Your Gear YouTube channel and podcast, for example. Phil McKnight, I like what he does. Just seems like a nice guy. I mean, he's a nice guy. Who else? Dipped in Tone, DIPPED, Dipped in Tone. I listen to that podcast, and I have a 30-minute commute on my way to and from work. So especially on my way home, I'll listen to 30 minutes of a guitar gear podcast. Sometimes, yeah. Well, there you go. All right, my friends, keep the questions coming in. Minnie, go ahead and just clarify that question. I'll answer it. In the meantime, let me throw a few things your way. Okay, let's get right to the $1 billion idea. I don't want to lose any of you before I share with you my $1 billion idea. And my $1 billion idea is going to, hold on here, is going to, what's the easiest way for me to show this to you guys? You know, Dr. Scholl's, I'll talk to you while I get this ready. Dr. Scholl's, right? Dr. Scholl's foot stuff, right? Okay. I was in Walmart because, you know, sometimes you find yourself in Walmart, right? And in Walmart, there was a big display of Dr. Scholl's stuff. There we go. Okay. Stand by, my friends. Share screen. And looking at this display of Dr. Scholl's stuff, I had $1 billion idea. Okay, can you guys see that okay? If your screen goes black, do not panic. There you have this big, massive display. Dr. Scholl's, right? For those of you who might be not familiar, Dr. Scholl's apparently was a doctor. Any Mitch Hedberg fans out there? Mitch Hedberg, the comedian. Mitch Hedberg has a bit where he talks about how he feels Dr. Scholl's was probably overqualified, that Mitch Hedberg said he would happily buy and use products from a Mr. Scholl's. That would have been fine. Okay, so check out this display. Look down at the bottom there. There's a big, you know, kind of a life-size display. Oh, you know what? Or was this was CVS. I take it back. I was in CVS, not Walmart. Okay. You take off your shoes. If you look at closely, see what it says, please remove your shoes. You stand on there, presumably in your socks, bare feet, I don't know, and your feet get analyzed. And then look at all that stuff. The shelves there are empty at the moment, but presumably there's all these products for your feet, right? Look at all that stuff. Look in the upper right, foot mapping technology. Oh man, it's intense stuff, right? Crazy, crazy. Okay, so I don't know if I can zoom in. So what's the $1 billion idea? Dude, why can't we have all that technology for our hands? I don't know about you, but I worry a bit more about my hands than about you guys can't see that? Hopefully you can see it now. Okay, there you go. Okay. Why can't we have all that technology in your local pharmacy, anywhere, right? For our hands. There's your $1 billion idea, right? You have aches, you have pains, you have questions about your hands, right? Imagine you rest your hands on whatever that technology is for your feet, and your hands get analyzed, right? They call it foot mapping technology, hand mapping technology, right? Dude, I'm far more curious and concerned about my hands than about my feet. I know we need our feet. I get it. But why can't we have that for our hands? You know, all the information that supposedly this display is going to give you about your feet, all the remedies and suggestions and technology involved. Please, can't we have that for our hands? In fact, why isn't it out there, right? Nothing against Dr. Scholl's. Good job, doctor. You have served us well for these many years. But man, okay, there's your $1 billion idea. Someone out there do it. You got aches and pains in your hands. You wonder why a certain finger won't do a certain thing. This goes way beyond guitar playing. That's why it's a $1 billion idea, right? Why is your hand not feeling good? How do you get your hand to feel good? If they have all this stuff for feet, there's got to be a market for an equal amount of products for your hands, right? Dude, imagine if whether it's arthritis, tendonitis, you know, if there's an item, a product that you could slip on your hand and wear that when you sleep. I mean, I know these things exist, different types of braces and stuff, right? But why can't there be more and more analysis, you know? All right, you get the idea. Here's my $1 billion idea. Somebody run with it. Many years ago, I had a student who I think was in medical school at the time, and I think went on to be some kind of hand specialist. This is a long time ago, 30 years ago. But man, I would love to have a hand specialist, you know, doctor or surgeon as a student right now. Oh, that poor person. I would never stop with the questions, you know? Okay, there you go. There's a $1 billion idea. Mini Zoo. Okay, so you're asking about the notes on the C chord. You're talking about, here's my nice happy C major chord. And the specifically the intro to Lonesome Town, I'm hitting the 5th string by itself, a nice downstroke, and then an up, down, up on the 3 treble strings, 2 or 3. 6th string open, it already is open with a downstroke, and that same up, down, up on the 3 treble strings. You put together, you get. Now that low E sounds kind of wonky, right? It does to me too, believe me. You know, but don't take my word for it. Give a listen to that song. I don't think it's capoed up or anything. Oh, you guys, the comments. Look at all these comments coming in. Jamie says, is that a humbucker for your neck pickup? Close. It's wide like a humbucker, but this is known as a P90. It's the same. It's a single coil pickup. It was described once, and I liked it, as a single coil on steroids. So it has a bit more muscle than a typical single coil pickup, but it doesn't have the whole humbucking setup like a humbucker would. So you could say it's in between, you know, has some nice oomph, some nice, you know, power to it, but not the same as a humbucker. I had thought about what I want to do for this guitar, and I thought, you know, make it a little bit special. Let's put a P90 right there. And I should know what the P stands for, and I should know about the 90, and I do not. I don't know. And I like it. I like it a lot. I like everything about this guitar. I'm so happy with this guitar. So thanks for giving me a chance to talk about it. The reason why I chose it, in general, I like the Telecaster sound, the single coil sound, but sometimes the single coils can sound a little bit thin, too thin for certain circumstances. And I thought, you know what, let's up it a little bit by putting a P90 in the neck position. The company that made this guitar, LSL, they do their own pickups. They wind their own pickups. So these are LSL pickups. P90 in the neck position and a single coil in the bridge position. And I'm very happy with it. Although next guitar, I'm definitely considering getting a guitar with 2 humbuckers because I don't have one of those. And, you know, you got to get one, right? You got to get one. Poopa John says, hey, John, what happens if I put nylon strings on a steel string acoustic guitar? Nothing bad happens immediately. You can physically, you can attach nylon strings to a steel string acoustic guitar. It would, I don't recommend it. I'll tell you more in a minute, but it would help if you got nylon strings with ball ends on them. So if you haven't already bought nylon strings, when you shop for them, specifically look for ball end strings. That means they have the same ball at the end as a regular steel string acoustic, and you can just attach them on this end of the acoustic guitar the same way you'd put on steel strings. So what happens? The negative is any guitar is designed to withstand a certain amount of tension from the strings you're going to put on. A steel string guitar is expecting a certain amount of tension. Nylon strings are less tension. So that's a confusing thing to the instrument. And in general, the neck could, I guess, relax in a certain way that over time it could need to be adjusted. I mean, every neck needs to be adjusted anyways, but because the neck is not receiving the tension it was expecting, the neck, I don't want to say it's going to bend because you guys will think of it as bending like in some weird flippy floppy way. It's every neck is meant to bow a teeny tiny bit like a U. I'm going to hold my guitar up like this. So necks do not have to be perfectly straight. It's okay for neck to bow a little tiny bit. That's called relief. It's okay for neck to have a little bit of relief in it. When a steel string guitar gets nylon strings, that it can relax a little bit. And I think what you'll find is the neck is going to get straighter, which can cause string buzzing and stuff like that. In general, necks are adjustable. So I'm not going to say you don't ever do that. It's not going to destroy your guitar. But it probably won't sound great, and it could cause you to need a neck adjustment sooner than you would otherwise. If you're curious, I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I'm not going to tell you it's a great idea. But I don't know. I will say this. The number one reason people ask me, like, hey, can I put nylon strings on this? Is they feel nylon strings are truly a little bit gentler on your fingertips, and they want that. They want a gentler feel on their fingertips. Because they have a concern that steel strings are going to like hurt their fingertips, which I get that logic. But I would tell that person, nah, just stick with it, build up some calluses, you'll be fine. Last thing, Papa John, if you just like the sound of nylon strings, it's not too hard to find relatively affordable nylon string guitars, classical guitars out there. So knock yourself out, find yourself a nylon string guitar that's meant for nylon strings, and enjoy it. Nylon string guitars are beautiful, beautiful sound. Joseph is suggesting that Dr. Scholl's display, except for hands, to put one in a guitar store. Oh yeah, man, put it in a guitar store, and you know, Scott Rhodes did a deep dive on why P90 is called a P90. Scott says the name was just the part number and doesn't mean anything. Seriously? Womp womp. I believe you. Just oh well. Jamie, thank you for your question about pickups. Okay. So Caddis says the device that tells you what's wrong with your hand does exist. It's called a doctor. I know. But if they're going to invent these foot things and claim that they're going to diagnose foot issues, then why can't they do them for hands too? You know, and power to the people, man. Walk in and get a diagnosis for free, man. Yeah, obviously, check everything with your doctor. That's the way to go. I know. I get it. All right, my friends, let's check off a few more boxes here. Don't forget to vote in our poll. Remember the poll question: what's your priority? Knowledge of songs, knowledge of the instrument, knowledge of music, or other? Couple other things. Okay, let's talk about this book. My friend's birthday is today. I just had to bring I banged my Martin guitar, my Martin acoustic, and managed to put yet another crack in the lower bout of my Martin acoustic. It's, you know how Frankenstein has those stitches? Yeah, my poor guitar. It's the one I use for teaching all the time, and it's a shame. Anyways, I brought it to my friend. He's a Martin authorized repair guy. He does great work. And I remind myself, hey, you know what? I should plug his book since today's his birthday. My friend Paul Neri, Neri. Paul Neri wrote a great book called The Acoustic Guitar Repair Detective. It's fun. It's not very expensive. It's cute. It's small. You can slip it in your carry-on bag, slip it in anywhere. There's Paul. Wish him a happy birthday. He's got a great workshop at his house. What a fun book. Every time I crack open this book, I learn something new. What he's talking about is case studies, you know, some of the classic things that people bring guitars to him for, and how he evaluates them, how he fixes them, and so on. Such interesting stuff. So he's talking about things like humidity. We're going to talk about humidity in a little while. Humidity issues, cracks, braces, bridge plates, frets, truss rod adjustments, intonation. We were talking about intonation before. The neck angle. More facts about things such as changing strings, strap buttons, end pins, buying a used guitar, the 12-string guitar. Some more information about ukuleles, arch top guitars. What a cool book. Get yourself a copy. It's from Hal Leonard. You could get it from Amazon. I bet if you buy it from Hal Leonard, I bet Paul gets a little more money. But no matter how you get it, it's a cool book. The Acoustic Guitar Repair Detective by Paul Neri. His last name is spelled Neri, and it's a very cool book. So there you go. All right, Neil Young. Can we talk about Neil Young for a second? Of course we can. Stay tuned. Your screen, like I keep saying, it may go black, but you don't mind because you know some good stuff is coming. Neil Young has a new album coming out, and the new album is going to appear on your screen in a minute. The new album is called Oceanside Countryside, but it's not a new album exactly. It's an album he recorded back in 1977. So for those of you who are Neil Young fans, there you go. Oceanside Countryside is the name of the album. And you want to know what songs are on there? I would if I were you. Hold on. Oh, man. Oh, there we go. Track listing. Well, let's see what it says first. It says Oceanside Countryside is the latest of Neil Young's great lost albums to be released. Recorded in 1977 down in Florida. It's okay. You can get it on vinyl and a digital download. Okay, and here's the songs that are on this Neil Young album. See that? Side 1 called Oceanside, 5 songs there. And side 2 called Countryside, 5 songs there. All right, so in case you're a Neil Young fan, there you go, a little Valentine's thing you can get for yourself. Why not? I want to share that with you. Okay, thanks, Neil. Stop sharing. All right. Hey, you know what I want to do? I'll tell you. I would like to turn you on to the Mixolydian mode, because in a few minutes, actually, tell you what, let's do the Mixolydian mode right now, and then we'll go right into our very fun play along song of the week where you can put the Mixolydian mode to use. Okay, so the Mixolydian mode is it's in the key of D, D like dog, and there we go. Okay, I'm loving this screen sharing, man. You guys might remember wasn't that long ago that I learned how to do screen sharing, and my life has never been the same. Okay, so Mixolydian mode, here it comes. The Mixolydian mode, everybody see that? I'm going to tell you what it is very quickly, and then we'll look at physically how to play it. The D Mixolydian mode. We need the D Mixolydian mode because the song we're going to do tonight is in the key of D, but there's a twist, and that twist requires us to adapt if we're going to solo on top of the tune. So that's the premise here. How do you solo on top of a tune that is not exactly diatonic, meaning not every chord is what you expect? This particular song is in the key of D, but instead of an A major chord, it has an A minor chord. That makes it very cool for the listener. It's a cool sound. But for the soloist, you need to reflect that minor tonality, that minor thing in your soloing, especially if you want to sound good. So how do you do that? You do that using the Mixolydian mode. What is the Mixolydian mode? Well, check it out. The D Mixolydian mode is just a D major scale with one note different. You flat the 7th note of the scale. In this case, you're going to play C natural instead of C sharp. Okay, don't worry. There's no quiz on this. You know, if some of you are starting to zone out, don't come back. Okay, what is another name for this? It's the G major scale. That's right. The G major scale also is the D Mixolydian mode. Anytime you hear any jokers like me talk about modes, any kind of mode, just know that deep down the mode is the same as a major scale, different name. You know, D Mixolydian is G major, but since many of us are comfortable with major sounds, the major scales, that major, right? So let's think of it in those terms. If this whole Mixolydian flat 7 thing is freaking you out, that's okay. That's why we're doing this, right? So you, I hope, are going to solo on top of this tune in a few minutes using a G major scale. And what's the G major scale? Well, there it is right there. I wrote it out in tab. And then I wrote it out in that diagram to the left side of your screen, right? Most people like using the tab at first, and then the diagram on the left might make more sense. See that big arrow pointing up at that 3? That 3 is the note D. That's significant because the song is in the key of D. So the D note in the scale is really valuable because you can find lots of opportunities to bang on that D note and sound good during your solo, right? Another way to put it is you never want to lose track of where the tonal center of your soloing is, your improvising. That's the root note. That's the note D. Like I said, we're in the key of D. And you can play any of those notes and knock yourself out, but you do have a responsibility to remember where you came from, man. Remember your roots, man. And that's it. That's the D note right there. So take a moment. Let me hear you play that G major scale open G string. Shocker, right? G major scale starts in the open G string. There's the D note. If you want to begin brainwashing yourself, and I use that term lightheartedly, but I kind of mean it at the same time, instead of playing the D major scale the way I wrote it, sorry, the G major scale the way I wrote it right there, actually start on the D note. That's 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Start right there. Play a few notes up the scale. And now start on that D and play a few notes down the scale. Whatever you do, keep coming back to that. You can even start improvising, knocking yourself out, just have fun. Keep coming back to that D. That's what I call brainwashing. It's telling yourself that that D is your home base, because that's going to help you out when it's time to solo. Okay, so everyone with me so far? The song we're going to do in a minute is a song in the key of D, because the songwriter plays actually more than one chord. The songwriter plays an A minor and a C major, even though the song is in the key of D. We have to adjust those two non-diatonic chords. And the way we adjust is soloing with a special sound. And here's your answer. I would not expect anyone to intuitively just figure out, oh, you know, I mean, I don't take it for granted that someone even knows what key a song is in. Although between you and me, the very first chord of a song is a likely bet. And it's definitely true in this case. You can't always count on it, but if you had to guess the key of a song, a good guess is the very first chord of the song. Can't promise you it's always going to be that way. Poopa John's like, no, theory's coming. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. But there you go. So again, you can forget all this theory. I mean, don't forget it. But you can have fun in just a few minutes by soloing on top of the tune with that scale. And just have fun. And then if you're curious, it's a G major scale being put to use during a song that's in the key of D major. Okay. And the reason we're doing that is because it sounds good, number one, but more specifically, it's because of specifically the note C. The songwriter is throwing in a couple of extra chords, you could say, a couple of unexpected chords, however you want to put it, that have the note C in the chord. A minor has the note C, and of course, C has the note C. And if you want to sound like a good, competent soloist, you choose some scale that has that C in there, but otherwise is a D major scale, right? The song's in the key of D major. A D major scale would seem like such an appropriate thing. A D major pentatonic would seem so appropriate. But when those chords appear, A minor and C, and they appear a lot in this song, you want to reflect that. And it's so easy. Just play a G major scale. So easy peasy. Okay. Hey, by the way, beginner guitar lessons and Music Fan 1004, they are our moderators. So let's give them a round of applause. Thanks for being here, beginning guitar lessons and Music Fan 1004. Music Fan is the moderator I am married to. That's true. You can marry. I married my moderator. It sounded funny before I said it. My mom is often watching these live streams. Hey, Mom, hope you're doing well. Rain coming and then snow tomorrow, in case you're wondering what's going on in Connecticut. Could be a half a foot of snow tomorrow. We'll see. Okay, so let's move into the song of the week. You ready to do this play along song of the week? Okay, here's what you guys need. I've had a lot of luck, by the way, recently, where I don't say the name of the song or the performer. When I say I have luck, meaning I'm not getting demonetized. So there we go. There is the song we're going to do this week. And the extremely talented gentleman who wrote the song. There's your chords, the chords you've been hearing so much about. D to A minor to G to D. That's the verse of the song. Typically, it happens 4 times. I think he's pretty consistent. That whole sequence happens 4 times. Those little slash marks underneath those chords, that's how long you spend. So the intro or the verse and the verse intro, D, 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 A minor, G, 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 back to D. The whole thing starts again, D, 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 A minor. Don't make the mistake some people make. They get to the D at the end of a sequence, and they forget that when you go back, you got to play the D at the beginning of the sequence. So you're on that D for a long time, right? Just, I call those bookends. Okay, and the chorus, C to G to D, D again, and that whole thing typically happens 2 times. Okay. Oh yeah, beginner guitar lessons. Thank you for the reminder. Perfect opportunity, specifically the chorus, but the whole tune. Perfect opportunity, C to G, to do Jonathan's G there with a middle ring and pinky. See my logic? I know I'm at a little thumbnail in the corner of the screen. C to this G, the G where you don't use your pointer finger. Pinky on the skinny string, middle and ring on the 2 bass strings. Do you have to do G that way for this song? You do not have to. It's the smart way to do it. 6-string Greg says, so it's a 1-4-5. No. I would remember D is 1, right? D is 1. So if D is 1, because we're in the key of D, you got to take my word for that, we're in the key of D. A minor is the 5 chord, but it's minor. Typically the 5 chord is major. So I would describe this as 1-5 minor, 4-1. You're right about something, 6-string Greg. You're right that the one chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord are the guts of this song. Definitely. The order is 1-5 minor, 4 back to 1. The chorus, that C chord, that would be described as the flat 7 chord. Not a coincidence. Remember that thing? Oh, I'm sorry, I just banged the mic. Sorry about that. I'm going to scroll up for a second. Not a coincidence that I said, oh, the D major scale with a flatted 7th note. Yes, that is not a coincidence. They tie together. So the chorus of this song would be described as flat 7, 4, 1, 1. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to do this in a second because there's not a whole lot more to talk about. Down at the bottom of the screen, I want you to be able to see those chords. Those are alternative ways of playing the chords of this song. Up the neck chords, I often call them. Let me see. Can I, if I make it a little bit smaller like that, there we go. Oh, my friends, you got a good look at that G major scale? I know you got to memorize that. For those of you who feel brave, move that whole G major scale up 12 frets and play it 1 octave higher, 12 frets higher, 1 octave higher. So it would be 12, 14, 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15. Okay. Now, I'm sorry I can only show you one thing at a time, but there you go. I hope you guys play that G major scale when you improvise. Okay. So real quick before we start, you are highly encouraged to, instead of playing the cowboy chords like I'm going to be playing, play A minor, a little bar. Don't use multiple fingers, just 1 finger clamp down. 3 skinny strings at the 5th fret. Okay, there's your A minor. There's a C close by. 3, 5, 5 for the C. 5, 7, 7 for the D. By the way, hopefully that you see a little bit of logic there. You take any C chord, move it up 2 frets, you get the D version of that chord. So that's what's being shown here. And good old G in the D formation, 7, 8, 7. It's a G chord that feels like a D like delta. It feels like a D, but you're a long way from home. D is way down here, right? And this G is way up here. If you are not comfortable playing these alternative versions of the chords, these up the neck chords, then I'm really glad I put it on here because I want you to come back to this video and do those chords. You could do a screenshot right now, right? However you want to, screen grab. Either print it out, write it out, whatever, crank up the original version of this tune and then work on playing those chords along with the tune. You don't have to strum them. You could arpeggiate them. You could be like D, A minor, G, and back to D. Especially if you're playing along with the songwriter here in his band. They've got the song covered. You can put in nice little embellishments. You don't have to strum your whole way through the tune, right? Not if you're playing with the band, you know. Okay, so I'm just about ready if you are. I'll do the first, maybe like one time. I'll go across those verse chords one time. That'll be the intro. And then I'm pretty sure that verse chord progression happens 4 times every time it comes along. And the chorus thing happens 2 times every time it comes along, except for the end. I think they just keep repeating the chorus chord changes at the end. Okay, so you know what to do. Verse is going to sound like this. You can get some down ups going. 2, 3, 4, right? Chorus is going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, D, 2. Kind of nice how the chorus ends on the D chord and the verse starts in the D chord. You're ready to go, right? Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Tom, for doing this. Okay. Oh, you know what? I went to the trouble of setting up my looper to show you. Bear with me. We're gonna do the song in maybe 60 to 90 seconds. But now I realize I set up the looper because I wanted to show you. Here comes the looper. I love my little looper. Okay, what I'm gonna do, bear with me. Not that one, this one. Okay, here's how the G major scale sounds along with the tune. Okay, just want to give you a taste of the flavor you get when you solo with the Mixolydian mode. You know, is it bluesy? No, it has this kind of edgy, almost minor sound, right? Not exactly minor, but okay. So I just want to give you a taste of that. I would have kicked myself later if I didn't do that because, like, dude, I had the looper all ready to go. I'm using one of those little ditto loopers. You can get one for yourself. In the description of this live stream is a Sweetwater link where you can go and buy yourself one of those ditto loopers. My only complaint about the ditto looper, I love the price. I love how it works. It doesn't run on batteries, so you always have to plug it into the wall. Okay, no big deal. Okay, so you ready to do this? I'm ready if you're ready. I'm not going to use the looper, but what do I need? I need this. And I need this. Okay, you guys can see those chords okay? Of course you can. All right. I need this right here. Okay, let's do it. I'll see you on the other side. Intro, 1, 2, 3, 4. She was standing by the highway in her boots and silver spurs, gonna hitchhike to the yellow moon when a Cadillac stopped for her. She said, hey, it's nice to meet you. Nah, you going my way. Yeah, that's when it happened. The world caught fire that day, and she went down swinging. Yeah, she went down, swinging. Well, she was over 21, in trouble with the law, and it didn't faze her none. She called her mother-in-law, said, I need a little money, and I know I can count on you. After that night in Vegas and the hell that we went through, we went down, swinging like Benny Goodman. Yeah, we went down, swinging. Yes, we did. Moonlight on the interstate, she was across the Georgia line, without the window feeling great. Yeah, it had to come in time. And she said, I'm never going back. She said, at last I'm free. I wish Mike could see me now. She'd be so proud of me. And she went down, swinging like Glenn Miller. Yeah, she went down, swinging like Tommy Dorsey. Yeah, she went down, swinging like Sammy Davis. Yeah, she went down, swinging like Sonny Liston. All right, I hope there's some soloing going on there. Some opportunities were created there. Pretty straightforward tune. I almost got it right. There's a few moments that I wish I could fix. That's all right. You got the idea. Remember, the ultimate goal, to play along with the original recording, right? That's the ultimate goal. So there you go. You can see why this tune made the cut. Remember, we've done 60 of these. This might be the 60th tune. We began on Livestream 20 with these play-alongs, and this is Livestream 61. So this might be approximately 60. I think we did a couple of Irish tunes in the same Livestream, if you're keeping track. All right, you're done with that? Ready? Okay, I'm going to end the sharing for a minute, or for now. Yeah, Randy, what a great song, right? From the Echo album from 1999. Thanks, Tom. Pooba John, I'm looking at your question here. Pooba John, I don't quite understand your question. For this particular song, the Mixolydian mode is the mode to sort of enter into to sound like you're a competent soloist in this tune. A blues scale would sound, in my opinion, a little too bluesy. D major scale would have a C sharp, and this song has no C sharps in it. If you play that C sharp as you're soloing, it'd be like, it would sound goofy. A D major pentatonic you could get away with that I'll show it to you right now. The only problem with the D major pentatonic, it just doesn't have the note C in it. It'd be nice to have that note C in it because, you know, when you're soloing, because the note C sounds great during all those A minor chords and during all the C chords. If you want to compare, don't take my word for it. You can use the D major pentatonic. It's starting on your fat string, 7-10. Oh, I'm going to do it with a looper in 1 second. 7-10, 7-9, 7-9, 7-9, 7-10, 7-10. The thing I call the headquarters pattern. Okay, let's do it with a looper. I shall now play a solo using the D major pentatonic. It should sound okay. I mean, what do you think? I mean, it's okay, right? But that one note, that C note, it's a game changer, right? It's a game changer. Just to recap, I'll do it one more time with the Mixolydian mode. Well, I'll do it up at the 12th fret. Okay, to me, that has a little more personality to it, you know. Rock Lobster, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. So just for the record, what I was just doing, I mean, the G major scale up 1 octave higher than I showed you before. 3rd string, 12, 14. 2nd string, 12, 13, 15. 1st string, 12, 14, 15. And the D note, because remember, in the key of D, the D note is that 15 on the 2nd skinny string. I know some of you playing acoustics is just not comfortable up high like that. Okay, so there you go. Beginning guitar lessons is encouraging guys hit the like button. Yeah, go for it. Let's get some likes up there. Why not? Just because it's a positive thing, right? Okay, so yeah, so you can see why that song made the cut, right? You know, pretty basic chords. I highly encourage you guys to all listen to the original because there's some really tasteful like piano and some nice just layers of electric guitars, maybe even acoustic guitars in there. Just you know, just because a song on paper doesn't look like much doesn't mean in capable hands, you know, capable hands can just add so much to it. So I encourage you to listen to the recording. Ringo says, it sounds like the Allman Brothers playing Tom Petty. Yeah, I can see that. The Allman Brothers for sure would definitely did mode type stuff, you know, for sure. Yep. I mean, the Allman Brothers, I have never really gone to school on the Allman Brothers, but from what I have learned over time, the Allman Brothers, they were jazz guys, man. They were very appreciative of jazz players and jazz theory, and that definitely gets reflected in Allman Brothers music. I would not say the Allman Brothers were doing like, quote, just Southern rock. Nothing wrong with Southern rock, but the Allman Brothers were, man, they were doing their own unique thing. One of my favorite stories of any band, especially origin stories, Duane Allman, when he and Greg Allman were auditioning people to ultimately become the Allman Brothers Band, when they got to the group of people all in the same room who, you know, were the ones who ultimately became the Allman Brothers, Duane Allman knew it. He knew this is the group right here. This is it. He he stood in front, he blocked the door, and he said, "This is the band. If anyone doesn't want to be in the band, you're going to have to fight your way out. You know, you got to fight your way past me to get out that door." I love that story. That is confidence, you know, love it. Rock Lobster, thank you for your super chat. My printer just ran out of ink today, so I got to make a run to get more printer ink, and I will use your super chat to get some more printer ink. Those of you who might want to contribute to the printer ink fund or to the Sharpie fund, just there's that $ down below, and I thank you in advance. Randy says, my hands want to play out of the A minor shape at the 12th fret. Yeah, no, you're not crazy. I mean, it's the A minor chord 12 frets higher than you would normally do it, right? Those 3 notes are 3 of the notes from the G major scale. So you could, whether you play them individually or when the band is on an A minor chord, you could play that. Yeah. You got it. You got it. Poopa John, I hope I answered your question. I didn't 100% understand your question, so I hope I answered it. So, okay. Mini Zoo says, do you have your own songs? I sure do. My friend and I are getting our act together. We've played in a band before. Last time he and I played together, I was the drummer and he was the guitar player. And now we're both playing guitars, writing songs, working on our harmony vocals. We have our first gig February 7th. And sooner or later, I'll get him on the show. I would love for him to be my first guest on the show. And that would be a perfect opportunity for us to debut some material for you guys. I look forward to it. So yeah, Mini Zoo, I do have my own songs. I've always written my own stuff, for better, for worse. That's how you could say it's kind of how I learned to play the guitar. From almost certainly within the first week of playing the guitar, if not the first couple of days, I thought, oh, I'll write a song with very, very, very limited skills. So I look forward to sharing them with you guys when they're ready, right? Serve no wine before it's time. Parmesan. Was that Parmesan wines? Anybody? Was that what the slogan was? Serve no wine before it's time. Pour no wine before it's time. Was that Orson Welles? Was he the spokesperson for Parmesan wine? Why do I remember this? There's so much I don't remember. Scott, thank you for reminding me. I do have a Sweetwater affiliate link. If you guys are going to shop at Sweetwater anyways, use the affiliate link, and Sweetwater kicks a little bit of that money back to me. The only time that I would say don't use my affiliate link, because I would love it if you do use my affiliate link. The only time I would say don't worry about it, and I'm grabbing this link right now. If you are considering sort of asking for a little discount at Sweetwater, let's say you're making a pretty healthy purchase. I'm going to copy this. And you know yourself what your budget is like. If you're spending a lot of money at Sweetwater, here we go. Okay. It's not a bad idea to call your Sweetwater rep, or just call the Sweetwater number, whoever you call, right? And say, hey, look, I'm considering getting this, Can you do anything with the price? It doesn't hurt to ask. But that means you're dealing with that person directly, and should you buy it, that's great. Then you don't need my affiliate link. You're kind of bypassing my affiliate link. It's great. Save yourself the money. That's awesome. Do it. If you're not the bargaining type, or if you're just getting yourself a set of strings, whatever, then yeah, please do use the affiliate link. Sweetwater, once a month, I get a little statement from Sweetwater. It tells me about different purchases, and every little bit helps, So I thank you in advance. Scott, I hope you get some cool stuff and then tell us all about it. Okay, now, my friends, don't go anywhere. We got plenty left to do. Keep the questions coming in. But in between your questions, let's talk about a few more things here. Okay. Guitar humidifiers. Let's do this. Boom. And let's share the screen. Who needs a guitar humidifier? Anyone who plays acoustic guitar, for sure. Okay, don't worry about your screen going black. Don't worry. Anyone who plays acoustic guitar, you should consider getting a guitar humidifier. You might already have one. If you're like me, you have old ones that need to be replaced. So look what I did here. I pulled up the Sweetwater page. You don't have to get it from Sweetwater. You can get it from your local mom and pop store. Do it. Support your local stores. But these are some of the products that are out there. So I'm scrolling up a little bit. All of these are good. I'm not here to tell you that one is better than the others. They all operate a little bit differently than each other. That's fine. You look at the ratings. See those orange stars, 4.5 stars. They'll get 4.5 stars. They're probably all great. Any effort that you make, any effort to humidify your acoustic guitar, especially your acoustic guitar, any effort is good. It doesn't matter to me which one of these products you use. A couple of tips. In general, I believe it's fair to say all of this humidifying that you do to prevent cracks in the wood, all of this humidifying works best when your guitar is closed in a hard shell case. Many of you do not have a hard shell case. I get it. Many of you have your guitar out on a guitar stand or hanging on the wall all the time. I get it. I get it. You still want to make some effort to humidify the guitar. But in a perfect world, you use whatever humidifying device you use. You put your guitar in a hard shell case. You close the case. Why? Because all the humidity stays right there. It's not going out into the air, right? It's trapped in the case with the guitar. A gig bag is not airtight, right? It's going to let out some of the humidity. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but I'm just saying, and of course, an instrument that's out in a rack or on a stand or hanging on the wall, of course, it's subjected to just room, whatever the humidity or lack of humidity is in the room. Some of you might run a humidifier, something you got from, Amazon, Walmart, whatever. You fill up with water every day or two. Awesome. Humidify the room. Awesome. But these devices are great. I recommend all of them. I've tried some of them. Some of them fit. I'm going to click on this D'Addario one. It fits in between your strings. Let's see. There's a diagram. See that picture right there? There's a little sponge. It's like a glorified sponge. Not even glorified. It's just a piece of sponge on the inside. By the way, you can make these. Here I am telling you to spend your money. Get a Ziploc bag. Put a sponge in it. You want to make the sponge lightly damp, not dripping wet. You don't want it to drip all over the place. Punch a few holes in the Ziploc bag. There's your very inexpensive guitar humidifier. I'll say it again. None of these things should be sopping wet. You don't want water dripping in your guitar, right? But look how easy that is. Just drop it in between your strings. It just sits there. Life is good. Okay. I'm going to go back this way. Okay. D'Addario does these cool humidity pack things. I've seen these. I haven't tried it myself. See how it kind of fits? Can you guys see that? It also kind of hangs down between the strings. Anything is better than nothing. Do something. Should your guitar get so dry that the wood cracks? Of course, it can be repaired. You might be looking at those cracks for a long time, even though they may be repaired, and you're going to have to pay someone to repair them. So you don't want to do that. Check out this one. I always thought this one's kind of fun in a kooky sort of way. From Martin, it's a piece of garden hose, essentially. See that? It's a piece of garden hose that hangs down in the guitar. There's my guy. There's my Sweetwater guy, Kevin. Kevin's a great guy. Give Kevin a call. Okay. All right. So that's my little sales pitch right there.